All right, guys, so let's look at the first example here. We have m squared plus 18m plus 80. Okay, so I want to do a few things first. I kind of want to set up my parentheses for my answer. So I'm going to set that up, leave some blank parentheses like that. And then I also want to label what A, B, and C are to help us with our big X. So what's A, what's B, and what's C? Okay. Now, FYI, for this lesson, if you haven't already noticed up here in my title here, with A equals 1, A for this lesson is always going to equal 1. We'll do another video when A is not 1. So in this case, A is 1. What is B? It's 18. And C is 80. Okay, so we've kind of set up everything. Now we need to set up our big X. So you'll make a big X on your paper. And I just say big X just because it's nice to organize it. Okay, now remember, what's this top region going to be? Right, it's A times C. So 1 times 80 gives you 80. What's the bottom region going to be? Okay, well, that's just B. And 18 is actually the number for B. Okay, now it's riddle time. So you ready? I'll say it for you. What two numbers multiply to 80 and at the same time they add to give you an 18? Okay, have you figured it out? What two numbers multiply to 80 but at the same time they add to give you 18? Okay, the correct response is 10 and 8. If I multiply them, I get 80. If I add them, I get 18. Okay, so that's the winning combination here. All right, now what did I say to do once you found those two magic numbers? Right, you're going to divide them both by A. What is A in this case? It is 1. So I'm going to divide this by 1 and this by 1. And you're ready to go now. So you take the denominator, hook on an X, so 1x, and then plus or minus whatever the top is. And in this case, the top is a positive 10. So this is 1x plus 10. And this one here is 1x plus 8. And that is in factored form. Pretty cool, right? Well, at least I thought so. Okay, number 2. Let's try this again. So let's go ahead and set it up. 2 parentheses. Let's go off and list what A, B, and C are. Okay, so in this case, like I said, A is always 1. What is B? Right, it's negative 12. And C is, right, 20. Okay, so let's go ahead and make our big X. On the top, we know it's going to be A times C. So 1 times 20 is 20. Okay, and the bottom here is going to be a B, which in this case is negative 12. All right, now, be very careful with this one because now we're playing around with some negatives. Okay, what two numbers multiply to 20 and add to give you a negative 12? Okay, this one's a little tricky now because we know it's going to be two numbers, but you're going to have to play around with the signs because we have some sort of negative going on here. Okay, so if you haven't figured it out, or if you did figure it out, the winning combination to this is actually negative 10 and negative 2. Okay, and some of you may be thinking, I don't understand how you got that. Well, if you think about it, if I multiply a negative 10 times a negative 2, we do get the positive 20. Okay, so that works. And if I add negative 10 plus a negative 2, you get the negative 12. Okay, so it does work. All right, now you're going to divide this by whatever A is, and for this lesson, again, A is always 1. Okay, and now you're ready to go. So this one right here, take the bottom, hook on an X, so 1x, and then plus or minus the top. Well, since the top is negative, we're going to make that a negative 10. Okay, and this one right here, we're going to take the bottom 1, hook on an X, and plus or minus the top, which is a negative 2. So x minus 10 and x minus 2 is in factored form. Okay? Now, let's look at another one. We're actually going to look at number 4. I'll come back to 3 in a moment. Now I'm going to go over 4 because this will be a good time for me to illustrate how can I use my calculator to aid me with this? Okay? So, I'm going to open up my 2 parentheses, set it up like I've been doing. Okay, what's A in this case? 1, B is negative 12, and C is 35. Okay, we're going to make our big X on our paper. Okay, now the top portion here is A times C, so 1 times 35 is 35. All right, and the bottom is always going to be B, which in this case is a negative 12. Okay. Now again, we are looking for 2 numbers that multiply to 35 and at the same time add to give you a negative 12. Okay. Now, some of you guys may have it and some of you guys may not have it. You're still struggling with this. So now is going to be a good time for me to show you how can I use my calculator to help me. So, okay, we're going to put our calculator in front of us. So calculator, steps. Okay, 1, you're going to hit y equals for me. Okay, so I should be at this screen. I should have nothing in it. Okay, now here's how this is going to work. You got these 2 things. You've got y1 and you've got y2. And you're going to type something into both of them. And it all depends on the top number of your big X. So in this case, since it's 35, you're going to take that top number, so I'm just going to call it top number for now, and you're going to divide that by an X. Believe me, just go with it. Okay? And in y2, you're going to say that top number divided by X, and then you're going to add an X. Okay? So small baby steps at a time. Let's go ahead and get this in there. So in y1, I should have 35 divided by X. And in y2, I should have 35 divided by X plus X. Okay? Now, where are these winning numbers going to come from? How am I going to get these? Well, next thing you're going to do once you've done that is you're going to go into your table by hitting second graph. Okay, so second graph. And you get all this good stuff that pops up. Now, as you see here in the table, you have 3 columns here. You've got X, you've got Y1, and Y2. Okay, this is where the bottom number comes in now. You're going to look for the bottom number, which in this case is negative 12, in the Y2 column. Okay, and the way that you navigate through this, you just stay over where the X column is and go up or down. So the idea here is I'm trying to find negative 12 in the Y2 column over here. So I'm going to look either up or down to try to find it. And there it is. There's actually 2 of them, and I'll explain why. So here's negative 12. Okay, and the 2 numbers that are next to it over here where my calculator is going back and forth, okay, those are the 2 side numbers. How cool is that? So negative 5 and negative 7. Okay? And now if you use this negative 12 up here, it's the same thing except reverse, negative 7 and negative 5. Okay, again, remember what I said, it does not matter. So, if you want to use the calculator, now some of these examples, guys, I understand are really basic and that you can easily just figure out what the 2 numbers are in your head. However, if you're still struggling because you don't know your times tables that well, then this may be a good resource for you to still try to participate with these problems. Okay? And we'll show that again with the next example. Now let's finish this up. Now that we have those 2 numbers, I'm going to divide them both by A, and A in this case is 1. Okay, so for number 4 here, your answer is going to be 1x minus 5 and 1x minus 7. Okay, Okay, and that is in factored form. Okay, so now let's go back to number 3 for a moment. Okay, let's go ahead and get it set up. So here the problem is a squared minus 13a plus 36, so 2 parentheses, an a, b, and a c. A is 1, b is negative 13, and c is 36. Okay, so let's make a big X. Okay, so in this case, the top number, a times c, is going to be 36, and the bottom is going to be negative 13. Okay, now, for this example, I'm going to show you the calculator one more time, just in case you didn't understand it, or if you understand it, you just want to check with me. So, in y1 and in y2, what are you going to put in y1 according to my calculator steps that we wrote down? Right, it's going to be the top number 36, and you're going to divide that by x. And in y2, you're going to type the same thing, 36 divide x, except you're going to add a x to that. Okay? So let's go ahead and type that in. So that means all I need to do is just change this 5 to a 6. Same thing with this one. All right. Now, once you've typed that in there and you're good to go, you're going to go back to your table, second graph, and you're going to look for the bottom number. So in this case, look for negative 13 in the y2 column. Okay, so let's see if we can find it. Okay, and so, here it is. Here's y2 column. Here's the negative 13. So the two side numbers are negative 4 and negative 9. Again, negative 4 and negative 9. All right. Very good. Now divide them both by a, which in this lesson it is still 1. Okay, and then your factors are right in front of you. So you've got 1x minus 4 and 1x minus 9. All right. Okay, great. So in the next video, what we're going to do is I have a few problems set up for you guys to try. So again, if this just did not click for you or you just need more time on it, please do yourself the favor and pause the video, rewind the video to make sure that you really understand this, because with future lessons, you're going to need to know how to factor trinomials using this method. Okay? So in the next video, please try.